This morning, Trump backs down. His deadline to Iran postponed for another 5 days. Tragedy strikes, 2 teens killed in a motorcycle crash. A Melbourne sinkhole causes commuter chaos. And ABC staff on strike tomorrow. That's all coming up on the Sunrise Early News.
Live across Australia, this is Sunrise Early News.
Good morning. Donald Trump has seemingly backed down from his ultimatum to Iran, insisting he'll postpone any strikes on Iranian power stations for at least 5 days, following productive conversations regarding the resolution of hostilities. It's caused a massive global stock market swing and oil price plunge. Trump promising he'll meet with Iran via phone today. Meantime, 8 people have been injured in Israel's northern district of Kiryat Shimona after shelling attacks from Hezbollah forces in Lebanon, launching drones, rockets and advanced missiles, exploding in a crowded Tel Aviv area. Several locations across Tehran have also been targeted in the latest wave of US-Israeli attacks, including an IRGC-linked naval ammunition depot in Sajan in southern Iran. Fuel rationing could be just weeks away, with states and territories calling on the federal government to adopt a national approach. Energy Minister Chris Bowen has admitted that restrictions are on the table as the International Energy Agency urges people to work from home, slow down on the roads and reduce air travel to ease demand. It's been described as the worst crisis to ever hit the global fuel market, with state and territory leaders warning an individualised approach would lead to confusion. 2 teenage boys from Western Sydney have tragically died after the petrol trail bike they were riding crashed into a bus just after 7 o'clock last night. The 15-year-old boy and his 14-year-old pillion passenger died after they became trapped under the Liverpool Parramatta T-Way bus. It's understood the boys were riding in the bus-only lane when the collision occurred. The 48-year-old bus driver was taken to hospital for mandatory testing. One of America's busiest airports remains closed this morning after a deadly crash on the runway forced the airport's closure. Live to Rob Scott in our US bureau. Rob, this seems to be a preventable tragedy. What happened?
Yeah, it does, Eddie. Look, this was an absolutely horrific accident. It happened late last night at New York's LaGuardia airport. An Air Canada Express jet coming into land, travelling about 160 kilometres an hour when it slammed headfirst into a fire truck that had just started to cross the runway. The front of the plane, as you can see from these pictures we're about to show you, has been completely obliterated. It is basically sheared off from the rest of the fuselage, bits of wreckage hanging off it. The fire truck as well has been destroyed. It's flipped onto its side on the side of the runway. Authorities say that there were 72 passengers and 4 crew on board that Air Canada Express jet. There were 2 people on board the fire truck. Both pilots now confirmed to have been killed. 41 people were taken to hospital, some of them with really serious injuries. Thankfully, dozens of them have now been released. We're also learning this morning that one of the crew from the plane was found strapped into her seat on the runway. She had been ejected from that aircraft. Thankfully, she is still alive. We also now have some pretty distressing and panicked audio from the control tower, which indicates what happens. It shows that the fire truck was given permission to respond to an incident on another plane, given the go-ahead to cross the runway just seconds before this collision happened. Take a listen.
Frontier 4195 to stop there, please. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop.
That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know, I was here. I tried to reach out to my staff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier.
No, man, you did the best you could.
So absolute panic and devastation. You can hear it in the voice of that air traffic controller. LaGuardia Airport has now been completely shut down as an investigation takes place. As you can see, the plane and the fire truck remain on the tarmac this morning. Eddie.
Thank you, Rob. It's been revealed that secretive US testing of an advanced hypersonic weapon capable of travelling at 5 times the speed of sound is underway in South Australia's outback. Australia and the United States are working together at Woomera to fast-track the air-launched cruise missile in a bid to catch up with China and Russia in the arms race. Officials from the Pentagon's Missile Defence Agency arrived in South Australia last week. Ex-tropical cyclone Narelle is descending on the west and it could be heading straight for Perth. Communities are on high flood alert with destructive winds and heavy rainfall on the way. Forecast now showing a move into the Indian Ocean, tracking down the WA coast. By midweek, it could re-strengthen into a severe cyclone as it moves over warmer waters, with the potential to hit as far south as Perth. A massive sinkhole has shut down a busy Melbourne thoroughfare with its deceptively small opening hiding an approximately 15-metre cave-like hole underneath. The sinkhole on Kerford Road in Albert Park was discovered just after lunchtime. Southeast Water experts are investigating if a sewer line contributed to the collapse. Authorities are asking commuters to find alternative routes as they travel to work this morning. The ABC's live television and radio broadcasts will be disrupted tomorrow as journalists and staff walk off the job following the collapse of pay negotiations with management. It's the first time staff have gone on strike in 30 years. The 24-hour stop work action is expected to see managers step in for regular announcers, with a drastic reduction in programs going to air. Union members rejected a 10% pay rise offer over 3 years, in addition to a $1,000 sign-on bonus. We're checking Tuesday's weather now. Brisbane shower 2 and 29, Sydney shower 2 and 27, Canberra partly cloudy 26, Melbourne shower 2 developing 29, Hobart showers and 18, Adelaide sunny and 31, Perth sunny and 30, Darwin a shower 2 and 31. Also to come in the Sunrise Early News, the Duchess of Sussex's new trademark ahead of her Australia visit. And blimey, it's the Peaky Blinders in Toronto. That's next on Sunrise Early News. Prince Harry's wife Meghan has trademarked her As Ever lifestyle products in Australia ahead of her visit down under next month. Let's go live now to Sarah Jane Bell, who's in London for us. Sarah Jane, is it just her jams that are protected? What's going on here?
Good morning, Annie. Definitely more than jams and even more than the famous flower sprinkles as well. It's reported that she's actually secured 12 trademarks down under for products that even include things like dog accessories, yoga accessories, and maybe even gardening tools. Of course, it's actually been 7 years since Meghan visited, and then she was a senior working royal, but this time it does appear that business is going to be front of mind and maybe even looking to tap into new markets. This trip next month actually comes just after we know that Netflix split from her brand As Ever. That was something that was glossed over, but of course Netflix also hosted With Love Meghan, or Meghan with Love, her show. So while we don't know exactly what happened with that split, it does look like maybe the Duchess of Sussex is looking for new revenue streams. Eddie?
Well, Aussies do love a rosé. Could go well. Thank you, Sarah Jane. An arson attack on a London-based volunteer-led ambulance service run by members of the Jewish community is being treated as an anti-Semitic hate crime. 4 ambulances were set on fire, with nearby homes evacuated as gas bottles on board those ambulances exploded. Here's what happened.
Today's a dark day for London. Jewish Londoners who volunteer, and I know the ripples of fear are being felt all across London and all across our country. This wasn't just an attack on Jewish Londoners, it was an attack on all of us.
No injuries have been reported, with the service remaining fully operational. The humble spud is facing a generational crisis, with UK farmers dealing with an oversupply of potatoes, blaming their growing stockpiles on weight loss jabs like Ozempic and Mounjaro. Farmers say consumers are buying fewer chips, opting for healthier options like soy crisps. Fish and chip shops are also feeling the crunch, with customers denying their previous hot chip obsessions. Well, you don't mess with the Peaky Blinders, not quite how that quite goes, but these series fans in Toronto have been treated to a pop-up pub that's transformed into a scene straight from the Netflix series. The Man of Kent pub was turned into the iconic Peaky Blinders watering hole. The Garrison patrons lining up to sip themed cocktails and snap pics. Of course, they dressed to match the aesthetic as well. As Tommy Shelby likes to say, suits are on the house or the house burns down. A WA paramedic in an ambulance under attack has relived the terrifying moment a patient allegedly went on a rampage. It's an extreme example of the spike in violence and abuse being experienced by frontline workers who are now appealing to be shown respect.
It's confronting to watch on the outside, but trapped inside the ambulance are terrified paramedics.
It was the most traumatic moment in my life.
Under attack allegedly by a patient on a destructive rampage in Kalgoorlie last year.
I feared for my life whilst I was on that job.
Every one of us was watching that in fear and terrified, and that was caught on film. There's terrifying incidents that are happening every day.
This is the growing reality of life on the front line.
We're seeing incidents where people are being spat at, being bitten, being chased down the street.
Violence and assaults against paramedics are on the rise. In WA, there were 442 incidents last year, almost 12% more than the year before.
The fact that people would take the opportunity to take out their aggression on a paramedic is disgusting behaviour.
More than half of the cases involving drugs and alcohol, often intensifying over the holiday period. 46 incidents in December alone.
We can't do our job. We can't help you. You know, if we are hurt, if we are injured.
Staff behind the phones also copping threats and verbal abuse. Last year, many attacks were so severe, more than 1 in 3 triggered a code black, meaning police were called in. Paramedics either had to run or hide in here for safety. St John WA hoping a new campaign will be a wake-up call.
We shouldn't have to wear armour. We shouldn't have to run and hide.
A desperate plea to protect those whose job it is to protect us.
For all of us that do this job, we do it because we love caring for people. Being left traumatised and fearful for my life, it's just ridiculous.
Rebecca Petroska, 7 News.
Also to come in the Sunrise Early News, Carl Sandilands launches his lawsuit against former employer ARN, and Victorian teachers walk off the job today amid a bit of pay dispute. That's all coming up on Sunrise. Sacked Kiss FM star Carl Sandilands is now suing his former employer, claiming ARN Media unlawfully tore up his $100 million contract following his on-air blow-up with co-host Jackie O. The company has told investors it had been served legal documents by Kyle's team. The shock jock claims there were no grounds to sack him, alleging there has been no serious misconduct or breach of contract. A new report on e-bikes from the New South Wales state government is due out this morning, with suggestions the government is set to bring forward new tighter legislation. To next year, e-bike regulations have been bolstered with a maximum 250-watt motor and a 25 km/h speed limit. The minimum riding age for e-bikes is between 12 and 16. A first home buyer on the Gold Coast is about to build a brand new house in the heart of the city's CBD for under $1 million. How? Well, there's a small catch. Her 9 neighbours share the same block in a micro-urban development that could be an answer to the housing crisis.
When it comes to the great Australian dream, you don't have to dream big.
It's actually big. Living in 43 square meters like I live in Barcelona, in a flat, this is enormous.
It's 89 square metres.
Just sold 550,000.
Tried to go a bit lower, it didn't work.
But it's still a lot. A freehold one, and soon they'll build a brand new home in the Gold Coast CBD for under $1 million.
When everyone's kind of got over the shock of the 89 square metre lot, then I kind of just gently slip in the fact, well, that's actually twice as big as the smallest one.
Amy Degenhardt is the mastermind behind Envy in Southport, splitting one lot into 10.
The narrowest of the lots was 3.6 metres wide.
7 of the 10 homeowners, this is their first. The smallest, 38 square metres, some with no garage, but also no body corporate.
So you've got no one telling you what colour to paint the front door.
And it's a foot in the door in a housing crisis. Advocates of this model want it replicated across the country.
At the moment, councils aren't facilitating this style of development through their planning schemes, and I think that's a real shame.
And it wouldn't drain the industry resources that we need for the larger housing projects.
When you consider the Gold Coast needs 185,000 new homes in the next decade, the answer might be thinking inside the box. Amelia Radham, 7 News.
Hundreds of schools across Victoria will be affected today as almost 30,000 teachers walk off the job amid a bitter pay dispute. Teachers will rally and march advocating for a 35% pay increase, significantly higher than the 17% offered by the Allen government. Victorian teachers are currently the lowest paid in any state and territory in Australia. For those thinking of getting away this Easter, you don't need to go far as the oil crisis hits the holiday market. Some of the state's favourite destinations are inviting locals to stay and play in each state and explore the best of our own backyard.
All aboard. Departing Queensland destination. Cheers. Queensland.
Early Beach, Cairns, casino.
Carnival Cruise Lines is riding a wave of popularity.
You don't have to worry about airports or flying. Once you're on board, your holiday starts immediately.
Guests lapping up year-round cruises out of Brisbane.
Stay local, because you don't know if you'll be able to get back.
See, I'm not a flyer, so I'm on the boat. I'm staying on the boat.
But smaller operators who rely big on fuel are desperately trying to stay afloat.
Oh, it's massive. Well, just with our running costs, it's increased probably $2,000 a day.
Lady Musgrave Experience in Bundaberg is considering a fuel levy.
We understand it's hard for the passengers too because they need to travel, so their costs are going up.
Like the Gibbons, who drove from Sydney to Bundy, loved seeing the turtles, didn't love what they saw at the Bowser.
So it was a bit scary. I don't know if we're going to get back.
Not a bad place to have to spend more time, or the Outback, where there are deals to entice travellers to stay longer and explore our own backyard.
What we're really hoping is that we will see locals holiday locally. They will travel within their 300-kilometre radius, or they'll go through Queensland and within Queensland.
People are coming just for that disconnection, switch off, reconnect and just good old family time.
In cities like the Gold Coast, it's hoped the volatile oil prices will fuel an influx of domestic visitors coming off the back of a record-breaking year. 14.4 million visitors in 2025 in an industry now worth close to $9 billion.
We are seen as a safe destination. We are now seen as a destination that has a full calendar of events.
A great escape may be closer than we think. Amanda Abate, 7 News.
Well, still to come in the Sunrise Early News, the pressure heats up on Brad Scott amid internal club turmoil. Plus, Craig Bellamy provides a shattering update on his recovering star. Also, a closer look at how the weather's shaping up in your part of the country with a beautiful new look of Sydney this morning. Checking sport now, Essendon coach Brad Scott is facing mounting pressure with reports of growing discontent between Scott and the club. It comes on the back of the coach calling some players selfish in the aftermath of Sunday's heavy loss to Port Adelaide.
There's no real leaders. There's no great leaders at that footy club, and that point has been made, I know, many times, symbolised by the fact that their best player wanted out.
The winless Bombers face North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium on Saturday night. Melbourne Storm coach Craig Bellamy has revealed on Seven's Agenda Setters Rugby League that Eli Katoa may never return to the NRL. The Storm star remains sidelined as he continues his recovery from emergency brain surgery due to repeated head knocks.
I don't know whether he'll play again. The doctors haven't made that decision yet, and I don't know when that decision will get made, to be quite honest. It was a major injury, and we certainly want Elle to be able to live the rest of his life in a normal way.
Katoa remains a key figure at the Storm, training with the squad and mentoring younger players. Socceroo Awir Mobile says he's grateful to be back in green and gold 18 months after his last national team call-up. The 28-year-old's forced his way back into World Cup calculations after impressing for the Spanish second-tier side Castellón.
It's something, when you're not here, you realise when you're away from it how special it is to represent your country.
The Socceroos host Cameroon in Sydney on Friday and then move to Melbourne on Tuesday week. South Australian coach Ryan Harris has confirmed fast bowler Brendan Doggett won't play in this week's Sheffield Shield match against the final against Victoria after failing to overcome a hamstring injury.
He tried his butt off. We're obviously going to miss him going in after what he did last year, and the bowler that he is for us, he leads beautifully for us, but it's just too much of a risk.
Day one of the Shield final begins on Thursday. We're taking a look at the weather around the country now. Brisbane shower 2 and 29, Sydney shower 2 and 27, Canberra partly cloudy 26, Melbourne shower 2 developing 29, Hobart showers and 18, Adelaide sunny and 31, Perth sunny and 30, Darwin shower 2 and 31. And that's Sunrise Early News for this Tuesday. I'm Edwina Bartholomew. Now it's time for Sunrise with Nat and Shervo.
Breaking overnight, teenage tragedy. A 16-year-old motorbike rider and his 15-year-old passenger killed in a crash with a bus in Western Sydney.
Breaking news, Donald Trump sensationally backs down from